Well, good day and welcome once again to Moments with Dr. Steve. I am Dr. Steve Bonenberger, and I am absolutely thrilled to be able to speak to you on these days. I have been doing this work of reconciliation, of ministry, of healing, of writing, of pastoring people in former days, of working as a counselor, healing practitioner, of a speaker, presenter, of a person that helps organizations, untangle messes. I've been at this a very, very long time, and many of you have interacted with me in a variety of settings, and I come to you in these days with a great troubled heart, and yet with great optimism for the future of our nation. I always remind you, first and foremost, I am a writer. I'm going to be referencing for a long time to come the events of Charlie Kirk's life. I am determined to keep this young man's image and mind and thoughtfulness in the forefront of my thinking as much as I can, and in your thinking as much as I can. And one of the things that his wife said in her eulogy, that beautiful remarks that young lady made, she said he was a journaler. Charlie was a journaler. I've been a journaler for over 40 years. I've kept my end of the bargain with God. I've worked hard to write through the messiness and the difficulty of the days and the celebration of the days. And as a result of that, I've been able to write many, many titles. Yesterday we talked about titles, didn't we? We spoke about the fact that in this hour, it is my consuming belief that shall not be dampened or lessened, that writers and pastors and thinkers and prognosticators and prophets and musicians and will be the ones, poets and historians and documentarians and filmmakers, that will change the course and the concourse of our history. With that in mind, we are working through the Writers' Covenant with the intent to get you writing. My work is to bring you to a commitment to write. My passion is to get you to probe the internal reaches of your own spirit. My work is to help you decide to make each day count by making it a reflective and then a review of what's going on, and then, if you will, a look forward to what is coming. It's what drives and compels me. And as we come to and arrive at this place in the Writers' Covenant, in our journey, we come to this idea of heroic figures. And I have written much about heroic figures, and I'm going to unpeel and unpack some of that so that you can get your mind around it. But as we begin to ponder future, as we begin to ponder and peek around corners, as we begin to think outside of traditional boxes, we begin to see every season of human history develops its own unique set of flaws. Every season of human history introduces its own forms of evil. Every season of human history sees some form of horror emerge, a horror that has not been seen heretofore, and has not just an edge of discomfort, but has this driving element that becomes a wedge that first divides humans and then creates great conflict. Setting the table. Today we're going to talk about setting the table as writers, as thinkers, as reflective humans. Part of our larger task is to identify trend lines and to scratch beneath the surface and to see what are the underlying issues, and from there to locate source material and source groups. And that's what we'll be leading all of us to do as we start to ponder what might be coming on the near or far horizons. Right now, we have buns baking in the national oven of the United States. That's where I live. I don't know where you live. That have to be considered. So let's take a quick look at what's setting the table for conflict as we start to think about what we might write about, what we might consider, how we might build tales. Unchecked and unmonitored immigration. However and wherever you stand, you have to, on the political spectrum, you simply must be troubled by what's happened over the last 4 years of our nation's history. Unchecked and unmonitored immigration during the last administration, over 20 million, no one really knows the actual number of people, walked unobstructed and unvetted into the once safe confines and borders of the continental United States of America. Now, no one knows who these people are for the most part. No one knows what their political and or ideological leanings and persuasions and proclivities and practices might be, who might be nudging and financing their arrival. No one knows these questions. No one knows the answers to these things. Parasites or patriots or troublemakers. Parasites or patriots or problematic troublemakers. Can you, can I, can anyone ascertain, there's a big word, what the motives of these folk might be? Can anyone guarantee that every single person that has entered into our nation that has been a political asylum seeker or a refugee, that they mean no harm for our people? Can anyone guarantee that promise? Problematic troublemakers. Can anyone guarantee and fully warrant that every single person that arrives into our nation state doesn't have a beef, doesn't have a grudge, doesn't have a historical misalignment, doesn't have a driving desire to bring our nation to its knees and to harm its people? Trained assassins on large scale. Trained assassins on large scale. Can anyone determine if some of these people, 100, 1,000, 10,000, might be in alliance and have forged accords prior to their arrival, that they decided to bring and assemble weapons or systems that are designed to twist our nation state into the ruinous rubble of what once were the Twin Towers that once towered and hovered over and dominated the skylines of New York City, setting the table. If you're a tale builder, if you're a writer of merit and punch and panache, if you have tenacity in your soul, if you're a creator of woes that seem unthinkable, if you're a writer of riddles that need to be answered that haven't even been asked, you have your opening salvo. In segments to come, we're going to ponder who might the villainous and opposing folk be that wandered unchecked and unmonitored into our safe and once cozy nation state. Life takeaways. Life takeaways. Americans are at risk. Make no mistake about this fact. This is not fable. This really happened in our lifetime. Over the last 4 years, every single one of us that paid attention witnessed a mass migration of unthinkable scale appear on our television screens every single day and night. Friction is impossible. Friction is impossible. Places and issues of friction are not possible to ignore. You simply cannot pack 100 pounds of potatoes into a 25-pound potato sack and expect no seams to start to give way or burst. Competition for resources. Competition for resources. In the end, what is coming, and I believe at light speed, are grabbing and clutching hands that demand resources that ultimately one day will dwindle, and where scarcity and rarity will become normative patterns. I am a writer. That's what I do. I've written fiction tales, 7 of them, and 2 trilogies. All of them are rooted in the idea that the continental United States becomes an unsafe place, that is no longer a sanctuary that is protected by oceans and by safe border. If you want to write great tales, ping me. I sent out a clarion call yesterday, and I shall continue that clarion call until the day I die. I believe that God has gifted you with great and certain idea sets that need to be constructed and properly crafted and given, specific language to, so that you can speak it. And those of us that will listen will hear those messages. If you want to talk to me, it's very simple. Just send me a message here on this platform, or go to thoughtpros.com, and start to pour into the material that I have poured out of my life over the last 40 plus years. Till next time, I remind you, this is not safe passage. This is not safe passage, and yet I love life, and I love what we're able to do with and for people. Till next time, this is Moments with Dr. Steve. I'm Dr. Steve Bonenberger. Travel far, my friend, travel far.